Welcome back to the channel. It's Ethan, and recently I went to New York. And so this whole week of treats is really inspired by, well, by week I mean 2 days. And it's inspired by New York. We made some Ariana Grande Problem inspired black and white cookies, which is a very iconic New York staple. And today we are going to be making a very iconic New York staple. However, this time we're focusing on Broadway. When I was in New York, we actually saw the King Kong. Wait, I can show you. It was pretty good. If you want to see a Broadway musical, but not drop $2,000 to see Hamilton, then this is pretty good. I really enjoyed this one. Now, however, there are so many more Broadway plays. There's Frozen, Dear Evan Hansen, Hamilton, Mean Girls, Wicked, The Cher Show. The list goes on and on and on. Now, I'm a big fan of Broadway plays, I think, because it combines two of my favorite things, movies, live action, and music. Yes. So for today's treat, we are going to be making some Playbill inspired Pop-Tarts. I always love it when Playbill Pop-Tarts. Playbill Pop-Tarts. PP. That's something I like. The ingredients for this recipe are 1 pre-made pie crust, 1/4 cup of raspberry jam, and 1 egg beaten. This is my big Broadway debut. We're going to be making Pop-Tarts. Unlike auditioning for Broadway, this treat is very easy to make. It is so simple and you can make it very fast in the morning. I'm going to start with pre-made pie crust. If you want to get adventurous, you can make your own. However, this stuff is really reliable and it comes in a nice sheet, and you don't have to do too much rolling after that. Before we can roll out our pie crust, I do want to sprinkle on a little bit of flour to our work surface just to ensure that it doesn't stick. It's like snow. Frozen. Let it go. Go. Now we can start to unroll this pie crust. I forgot I opened it from the bottom. A little scroll. Dear Evan Hansen, I'm writing to you today because I'm making Pop-Tarts. Once you've rolled out your pie crust, we can begin to cut it out. I'm going to be cutting mine out with a rectangle cookie cutter. This is 4.5 inches by 3 inches. And just cut out as many as you can. Usually these pie crusts also come with 2 sheets. However, I found that 1 sheet makes about 4 Pop-Tarts, so 8 rectangles. Are you following me? I'm going to be cutting out as many as I can, rolling the dough again, rolling it out, and cutting more out of that. I've laid down 4 sheets of pie crust onto our workstation, which is gonna make 2 Pop-Tarts. Remember, you'll need 2 sheets of crust for every 1 Pop-Tart. And now I can start filling these. I'm going to be using a raspberry jam. You could use whatever jam you'd like. Again, this is so up to you. You can customize it. Maybe add some butter and some brown sugar if you like that flavor of Pop-Tart. However, Pop-Tart has some weird flavors too. Maybe just stick to the jams. Along with our jam, I've got a tablespoon and a fork. And over here, I've got our egg that we beat up. To assemble these Pop-Tarts, I'm going to start by adding about 1.5 tablespoons of jam to each in the center. Using the back of the tablespoon or an offset spatula, I'm going to spread it out, leaving about 1/4 of an inch border around the sides. When you've added your jam to your pie crust, now we want to go around that border with our egg wash. Using your brush, spread on a thin layer of egg wash around the entire thing. This will act as a glue and help keep the 2 crusts together. And now what we want to do is crimp the edges. This is just a fancy term, basically taking a fork and pressing down. This is really going to ensure that everything stays inside. We don't want the jam escaping. Pop-Tarts don't do that. With your fork, go around pressing down the entire border, basically where we added on our egg wash. The last thing we want to do in making these Pop-Tarts is dock them. Again, lots of fancy terms for just poking things with forks. I'm going to take our fork and poke about 4 times in the top of our pie crust. And those little holes are going to allow air to come out so that these don't balloon, but you won't see them when we add on the glaze. Now we want to take these little Pop-Tarts and pop them onto a cookie sheet that's either greased or lined with some parchment paper. These little Pop-Tarts are ready to bake. Pop them into the oven at 425 degrees for about 7 to 9 minutes or until lightly golden brown. While our Pop-Tarts are baking, we can start to work on our glaze because what's a Pop-Tart without that frosting glaze on the top. We're going to make that, and this is very simple. We're going to take 3 cups of powdered sugar, a tablespoon of cornstarch, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract and add that to our bowl. I've also got some water here. I'm going to add a little bit at a time until I get a consistency that I like. Not too runny, but not too thick. I went ahead and divided and colored our glaze. We are going for the King Kong Playbill, the one that looks like this. So all the playbills are yellow and black. So I've dyed some of our icing yellow and left that in the bowl. And then in some smaller piping bags, I've got black and white. I'm going to start by making the playbill title onto our Pop-Tarts. And to do this, I've got a small offset spatula here. Spread on a thin layer of your yellow icing to the top of your Pop-Tart. Allow the icing to completely harden and go back and pipe on the words Playbill. I like to go from the outside in, starting with a P and then over on the opposite end an L, and work your way to the middle. That way you'll know how to size and space your letters so that you complete the word. Once your playbill writing is finished, now you can get creative and add on your details to the front of your Pop-Tart. Again, we're going for the King Kong logo, so I'm going to pipe on a giant monkey, gorilla, really. Then I'm going to add on that white circle around him, and then fill that whole thing in with more black icing. And here we have them, our Playbill inspired Pop-Tarts that we made today. Now I actually got really excited and made a bunch more plays. We've got like Hamilton over here, Wicked, and Dear Evan Hansen. Now you saw how easy these Pop-Tarts were to make, and they taste amazing. It's honestly like a more gourmet, fresh version of a Pop-Tart. And you can get so creative with these. If you do happen to make these, please share them with me on Instagram or Twitter. And if you have any other requests for another celebrity sweets, please leave those down in the comments below as well. Also, don't forget to share this video with someone who likes Broadway, plays, anything that you saw in today's video. And tell them to subscribe. Until next time, savor life and make it sweet. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, let me know by hitting that like button down below. And while you're at it, subscribe. You can do that by clicking this cute little donut right here. If you're looking for more content, up here's my latest video, and down here's what YouTube thinks you should watch. That's all for today. I will see you guys in the next video.